You clicked on this video, so you know that I think Yelena is a far stronger on-screen Black Widow than her sister, Natasha Romanoff. And no, I don't think it's close. Let's start with Natasha. She's classic, iconic even. But is she too classic? Natasha Romanoff is first introduced in Iron Man 2 as, get this, a legal assistant. But obviously we learn she's more than just a legal assistant when she kicks Happy's ass. During the scene, Tony looks her up and even remarks that she modeled in Tokyo and oogles her pictures, as Pepper puts it. Stay classy, Tony. In universe, this was likely a planted backstory to get Tony's attention, because of course it is. But still, that results in Natasha's first ever appearance being defined by two traits. Firstly, that she's hot, and secondly, that she kicks ass. In short, every 13-year-old boy's dream woman. This sets her up pretty firmly as the femme fatale archetype of character, which is an archetype of character that is defined by being both a seductive character and a problem for the characters that the femme fatale seduces, usually her victims. And to be honest, Natasha Romanoff has a hard time moving beyond this flat archetype in her earlier on-screen appearances. In the Avengers, she's introduced while participating in this exact trope. She's seduced her Mark, who's found out that she's a spy of some sort, and is currently manipulating him for information while playing into this vulnerable, seductress caricature. She also exhibits traits of this archetype during her first meeting with Banner and her interrogation with Loki. This femme fatale archetype is further played into in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where Natasha and Steve Rogers are trying to escape detection. The way they do this is by making out, which feels very fan-servicey to me. Admittedly, there are stronger examples of Natasha embodying the femme fatale, but this one sticks out to me because the writers could have very easily written Cap and Widow out of that situation in literally any other way, but they instead chose to play into it. And yes, I realize it's more complicated than Natasha occupying the femme fatale archetype for the sake of fan service alone. I understand that it's a caricature she utilizes to gain information or other advantages over targets, and she's not always like that. In fact, the Winter Soldier is a great example of her character expanding through her banter with Cap. But ultimately, the issue here is that she never gets as much screen time or development as Tony, Cap, Thor, or a litany of other characters in the MCU. So the screen time that is spent where she's femme fataling feel that much more integral to her character, because it takes up a lot more space by comparison. There are other moments with her that develop her character beyond this, like her friendships with Bruce and Clint, but ultimately, I don't think it's enough to push her that far beyond the classic femme fatale side character archetype that the MCU stuck her in. And that's not her fault, or Scarlett Johansson's for that matter. She's obviously a very talented performer. The MCU just never gave her, Scarlett or Natasha, enough space to develop too far beyond the femme fatale side character, because it was concerned with other characters and plot lines that took up the limelight. Hell, Natasha didn't even get her own solo movie until after she died. And is the Black Widow movie really her movie, or does it more so exist to set up Yelena as the new Black Widow? I can't actually tell you the answer to that question because the MCU failed Natasha again by making her post-mortem solo movie not only a boring, subpar CGI slopfest, but also forgettable. In short, I forgot. But you know who I didn't forget? Of course you do. You read the title, you smart person, you. Yelena seals every project she's in and manages to bring both charisma and depth. In her first appearance in the Black Widow movie, she had a lot of trauma to deal with and unpack, namely from her time in the Red Room and being used to unwillingly murder the people that were basically her surrogate sisters. Despite this, she brings a lot of charisma and levity to the film. In her first appearance, she immediately proves she can do both, which is impressive. In her next appearance in the Hawkeye show, she's trying to kill Clint because she believes he killed her sister Natasha on Vormir. Yet, while on her cold vengeance quest, she talks with Kate Bishop and is so effortlessly charming and charismatic that you can't help but love this character. She was easily my favorite part of that entire show. And finally, we have Thunderbolts, which she's basically the main character of, or pretty close to anyway. Remember how I said Natasha wasn't given enough space and development to fully outgrow the femme fatale side character archetype the MCU had originally placed her in? Well, it seems they learned their lesson with Yelena. She's only been in 3 MCU projects so far, I believe, but her character is already so rich in both charisma and depth. Yelena is the emotional anchor of Thunderbolts, which opens with her inner monologue as Florence Pugh performs one of the most impressive practical stunts ever, by the way, and her inner monologue reflects on how she feels disillusioned with her current career and is depressed by this, which is a key theme of the film that is later expanded on through one of the antagonists, namely Bob/Sentry. Speaking of Sentry/Bob, Yelena is the first of the Thunderbolts to take the leap into his depression realm void thing and try to comfort Bob, which he'd already been doing all movie, because this character already has layers 3 appearances in. And on top of all that, she's funny, like really funny, in a chaotic way. So much so that I can confidently say she's easily one of my favorite MCU characters at present, and is definitely my favorite legacy character. Sorry, Sam Wilson. I don't think I could ever say that about Natasha's Black Widow as much as I do love her. She was never one of my favorites. She was never really a standout to me, if that makes sense. I think Florence Pugh's Yelena makes a much better Black Widow than Natasha Romanoff because of the character's charisma and depth. Luckily, Marvel writers also seem to recognize this and allowed her the screen time and space she needs to further develop as a character, which they could have been better about with Natasha. Ultimately, Yelena isn't inherently a better character. Natasha has her charming moments too, but I do think Yelena's potential is better realized on screen, allowing for Florence Pugh to maximize the character's depth and charisma. When I told my fiance about this video idea, she said it would be super controversial, but I don't know. I get that Natasha's a classic, and I still like her, but Yelena is just so damn good. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Anyway, I'm a YouTuber. You probably know what I want. Do the like, comment, subscribe things if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!